Hey there. I'm sorry for the glare in this picture, but it's worth it because this is a great story. Frank Sinatra loved Mount Kisco. And before Handkerchiefs was Handkerchiefs, it was called David's. And it was owned by these three guys. That's the famous Joe Shoeshine on the left, Joe Yacetta. And then, of course, Frank. And then there's Joey Corsi in the white kitchen garb, and Bruce Aratani on the right. All three of those guys were brother-in-laws, and they owned the place when it was David's. And they had a nice business there, and upstairs they had a party room. And one day, Shoeshine's tending bar, and a guy comes in, two guys actually, come in, and they say, "We understand you have a party room upstairs. Our boss wants to throw a party up there." So right away, Shoeshine gets a little defensive because not knowing these guys. He says, "Well, yes, we do have a party room upstairs, but it's, we use it for the Kiwanis or the Lions Club or the school board meetings, or town board meetings up there. We don't usually, He says, "Well, our boss really would like to have a party up there." He says, "Yeah, who's your boss?" "It's Frank Sinatra." "Get the hell out of here," Shoeshine said. Well, it turned out it was true. And because whenever Frank was in town, performing in New York or Long Island River, he always stayed in Mount Kisco. He stayed in a cottage on the estate of Bennett Cerf. They were friends. Bennett Cerf was married to Phyllis Wagner, who was Mayor Wagner's sister. And he always stayed in the Bennett Cerf up on Orchard Drive. And Sinatra had just made a movie called Detective with Lee Remick and Jack Klugman and Robert Duvall. It was 1968. And he wanted to have the premiere showing, not in Hollywood, not in New York City, but in Mount Kisco, right next door to David's, Handkerchiefs. And sure enough, they did a deal and they had the party upstairs. Well, it was the talk of the town and a night to remember. And luckily, everybody had a great time. Unluckily, I wasn't there, but I heard so many stories about the wonderful things that happened, and Sinatra was upstairs and he was just, holding court with everybody after the premiere showing, and everybody had a good time, and the three partners would take turns going upstairs and enjoying the festivities upstairs and still working the restaurant downstairs. A friend of mine's mom, Mark Bozzetto's mom, Ann Schutte, was working a party, and she said, "Oh my God, Hank Sinatra was handing out $100 bills like they were M&Ms." Of course, this is 1968. $100 went a long way. Well, it was a great night, and everybody had fun, and Sinatra did come back quite often. He liked Chipper's linguine white clam sauce, so he would come back, and nobody hassled him. But that night, as good as it was, of course, it had to have its bad moment. Now, listen to this. The party's over, it's late at night, and everybody had a great time, and everybody's winding down and coming downstairs. Sinatra was one of the last ones to leave. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, and Shoeshine, my buddy on the left there, is tending bar downstairs, and there's only one guy at the bar, and let's call him Jake. Jake was an everlasting pain in the ass when he was drinking. He was just a loudmouth and good guy when he was sober, but he was a terrible customer. He was always opinionated and a loudmouth and just ornery. Well, Sinatra comes down the stairs with his buddies, the bodyguards, and it was drizzling a little bit, so they're kind of waiting for the car to pull up and pick him up. And the two partners, like I said, Joe Shoeshine was behind the bar. The other two partners was asking Frank Sinatra on the sidewalk, "Was everything okay? Did you enjoy everything?" And he said, "Oh, guys, it was fantastic." So Joey Corsi said, "Would you like to come in and have a nightcap with us? We'd love to have you here. We'd like to have a nightcap." And Frank said, "You know what? I'd love to have a nightcap." So they walk in. Mind you now, the place is empty except for Shoeshine behind the bar and Jake at the bar. And Jake turns his head around and looks and he says, "Big deal, Sinatra. Give me Perry Como any day." And with that, Frank stops dead in his tracks and he says, "You know what, guys? Maybe another night." And he went out and got into his car and took off into the night. But it was a great night, and it was a night to remember. And this picture is special to me because, well, I'm a Sinatra fan, and this is as good as it gets right here. I hope you enjoyed the little story, and it's it's a great thing. Gotta love Frank.